In today's episode of the van build series, we're going to be tackling the inside. If you are new here, this is my 1995 Renault Extra van, previously owned by the US military, that we put in a Turbo 2 Group B kit on it. But then there's a twist, we're turning it into a time attack style vehicle. We're trying to make this a perfect track van, inspired by some of the best motorsports cars across the world and the best era, in my opinion, of cars, which is the 80s and 90s. If you've ever sat in a GT Turbo or a Renault 5 Campus, you know how high these seats sit, and it is my pet peeve. I made the decision to drop these seats lower, but by doing that, the seating position is pretty uncomfortable because you sat so close to the dash. I've had to move these seats further back, so I need to get the pedal box in to make sure the seating position is perfect. All we need to do now is get them in there, as easy as that. We've now got the pedals in the position where they are going to be for driving, so I can now test out if the seats are in the right position. Oh, let's bob on that. Now, for me, that's quite a nice bend, but I was thinking more the steering wheel down here, to be honest with you. Just for 20mm, just to drop this down. Oh yeah, that's a miles better seating position, that. On to getting the seats out and then the rear cage. So the seats are out. It's now time to get the cage in, and we brought Ben over, my brother, to help me get the cage in. Now in theory I've measured it and it should fit, but it's looking like a bit of a squeeze to get it in, so fingers crossed we can get it in. So we managed to fit the cage in, but we do have a couple of issues. When we make the cage where it's supposed to be, which is around there, obviously you can see it's sat way off the wheel wells. So all we're going to do, I've ordered a piece of 100mm by 50mm, and we're going to run it right across the two ledges, weld it on, and then we'll be able to weld some plates or some boxes just underneath so that we can get these two bolted in. I've then gone and ordered some tubing so we can run a harness bar where we need to run it once the cage is bolted in. This is an easier option and a cheaper option than trying to make a cage myself and paying for someone to make it. It's all about them learning curves, but luckily the cage does fit where it needs to fit and it does look nice in the back. So in the last clip we see that we've got issues. There's no way that this cage is fitting without any work. I've ordered some bits to act as a strut brace, and then I can weld some boxes on top to push that cage forward, but we need to address the legs that are touching the back of the van. Obviously the cage is not square now, but neither is the floor. As you can see, it's very rigid, so we need to make box sections for these to weld on. That'll just bring it up ever so slightly, and then we've got a nice surface to weld on for these. I've got some 2mm sheet that I'm going to cut up and weld together so we can get them in on the van. The metal's turning up later on today, so tomorrow we'll be able to start welding in the strut brace and boxes. Then after that we can put the seats back in, mark where our harness bar needs to be, and start cracking on that. So we have sorted that block issue. All we did, cut some cardboard to make the bases, then it's just cardboard mocking up the sides. It took me a couple goes to get it where it needed to be because the cage is on the feet of the cage are on a bit of an angle. I could have cut the supports out and straightened them up, but I thought them supports would give it a bit more rigidity in the event of a flip. From the back, you can just see the little small plates for the cage to sit on. They're only tacked together, so I'm going to pull them back out and weld them fully together. I need to clean the floor area up. I don't plan on this cage coming out. If anything, I plan extending from this cage in the near future. Probably when we do go rear engine, I will do a front section of the cage, because if we start pushing any more power, then we need to be looking at safety rather than weight as well. So yeah, this half cage for now will be great with an F4R in the front. Just gives me a place for my harnesses to sit. And the rule of thumb is, if you take from the highest point of the cage, which is there, and to the front of the nose, you can see that there's only a very small portion of the roof that if it did flip, it wouldn't be something that would be coming in and hitting my head. Otherwise, the cage would be pointless. You see a lot of people, for instance, running half cages on 5s. It's good from a structure point of view of strengthening the back up, stiffening it up, but from a crash point of view, pretty pointless, because if you was to flip the 5, because the roof is lower, you'd flip it and the roof would hit you on the head, so you may as well just not be running one. Going to finish welding these up now and then clean the floor up, bolt them through. Maybe not weld them in place today because I need the harness bar, I need the strut brace in the back in first before I make any final decisions, but we're getting there, we're getting there. Welding skills coming in thanks to Artec. This is what we have got. 38mm tube for the harness bar. Then we've got 100mm by 50mm box section for the back of the van. So if you can imagine, that's going to sit like that. So we're going to run it flat. We'll have to notch the ends out so it slots over the rail at the back, and then we can make some nice box sections for the feet to fit on. Might be asking yourself, why don't you make yourself your own cage? Well, 1, I don't have a pipe bender. 2, I don't have the experience and knowledge. And 3, this is far easier and less time consuming to modify the Clio cage than it is to make my own. Your best friend when it comes to making custom pieces like this is cardboard. It's so handy to just mark up, cut dead easy, so you can get stuff right. I'm quite happy with where this box is positioned. I'm hoping I can just replicate this one and it'll be the same on the opposite side. We're going to keep these 3 pieces, mark them up on here, get to cutting, get to welding, and then welding them on the strut brace. So there it is, the vision brought to life. As you can see, this one on the left hand side is square down and the one to the right is on a slight angle. Because of that, if in an event it flips, because of that angle of the cage, it's not giving downward pressure. It's giving downward pressure but slightly to the side as well. So I'm going to weld like a little triangle to the side of that, so when there is sideways pressure, that triangle that is going to go on the side will just support it a bit more. We've got to repeat the process to the opposite side. I've had to do some minimal cutting to my cardboard templates, but they were pretty much thereabouts. You've got to remember that these things, they're old French cars, they're going to be out here and there. It could be down to my boxes being different levels, but my boxes at the moment towards the front are touching. It's touching down there and it's touching down there. We've now got this bracket touching, so little adjustments to that one. Only a couple mil here and there will make it perfect, so when we weld it all together, we've got a nice structure. So it's probably been an hour or so since you last seen me, but the bases are all welded up. We've not yet welded them to the strut brace, but they are all welded up. So this is what the feet are going to sit on. Bit of an angle here and there. like I said, when we come to welding them onto the base, I am going to put a triangle section coming down there just so it adds extra support from that side force. But I mean, check that bad boy out. The 181 is making easy work of it. For a novice like me, it's making me look like a bit of a professional. So I just want to again give a big shout out to Artec, because honestly without them and all the other partners, this van would not be possible. So now that we've got that in, we can pull everything back out, start prepping the surfaces ready to weld. After that, we can put the seats back in and then mark up where the harness bar needs to go. We've got the brackets made up, fully welded up, grinded back. We've got the plates made up, grinded back. We've got the sections that the plates and the strut braces sit on, grinded back. I have welded a small tab onto the actual strut brace so I can attach the negative of my welder to there, just so I can get a good earth on it. Gonna get the Artec going and then we're gonna weld all this cage together, fingers crossed, get it painted today. And as easy as that, it is all welded in. The bars welded to the van, the plates are welded to the bar, the plates are welded to the cage, not only in the back, but in the front as well. I've now got to go over these with a finger sander. Is that what they're called? Yeah, finger sander. I'm then going to try and get a quick coat of paint on just the cage today. We can put the harness bar in tomorrow. Your welds do not need to be pretty, they just need to hold. That is the big thing that I've gone for here, is not necessarily perfecting my welds, but making sure that I'm getting sort of full penetration. It was quite hard because I'm welding 1.5 mil to, I think it's 2.5 or maybe 3 mil. So it was a bit difficult to get the heat right, to not burn through the 1.5, but also make sure that it's penetrating through the 3. Artec have made this possible. I know I keep shouting them out in this video, but you know, without them and them actually showing me how to weld, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this. So I've seen a trick on TikTok on how to get the perfect round for a pipe meeting a pipe on a 90. And we're going to try it. So a piece of paper and a pen, if it works, is ideal in my eyes. Cut your mark section off, and that should be the right roundness to suit the pipe. So I'm going to cut that and then we'll go and test this theory out. Or we'll go and test this hack out. Oh, let's give it a whirl then, shall we? Sorry, that's the cut, what has come out. Pretty nice. You are joking me. Mate, that is pretty much bang on. Right, all we need to do now is measure well, I need to get a seat in, and then we can get the height, and then I can measure in between and repeat this process on the opposite side. Nothing without a bit of an issue. Now, the way I position the cage is I brought it as far forward as I can, so in the event of an accident, this is what you do. I explained this before you, but you go from your highest point where your cage is to your highest point on the corner, and then you draw an imaginary line, and then that shows you where the roof, it shows realistically where the roof is going to crush in if you flip it. Now, I've said that I wanted the seats as far back as possible, but I didn't take into account that they were on an angle. I imagined them to be square. Silly, I know, but I didn't take it to account. So a straight bar right across is not going to work. As you can see, there is the cage and the seat too far back. I could just move the seat forward, but I've made it my mission to make this van in such a great seating position. I don't want to mess that up by having to move the seat forward because I made a wrong decision with the cage. So when we ordered the metal for the harness bar, I ordered extra purposely in case anything like this cropped up. As you can see, we have got so much excess. So all that's needed is another one of these cuts on the opposite end. I can then cut them at an angle so they would return out on a bit of an angle, then we'll have a straight bar across, and then it'll return back in. We can then put our little triangles, what I explained for the mounts at the back, underneath there for some added support, and then we'll have the harness bar sorted and we can get the harnesses fitted. Here we are, sports fans. We've got the two returns cut. We've got the bar down here already cut, so that just needs welding in there. They're only 100mm standoffs just to bring it out that little bit to get behind the seats, then we can run a straight harness bar. I can get this tacked up on the inside, then bring it back to the bench, weld all the way around, grind it back, bring the harness bar back in, weld it to the cage, and then we are good to go. The rear of the cage is all welded up. We've got our little feet in with the extra tabs on the side. We've got the little tabs underneath the harness bar just to add some support. Now, I took a vote on my Instagram what colour we should do the cage. I said, should I leave it silver or should we go another colour? And everybody voted silver. Make sure you follow me on Instagram to keep up to date because there's a lot of polls on there which are decided by you lot of what route we do take the van. I've picked up my special hammerite, but instead of hammered black, we've gone for hammered silver. And to be honest with you, it looks like a nice colour. I've not yet tested it out on the metal, but it looks pretty similar to what was already there. Just gives it that nice shine, and yeah, saves breaking the bank. So we're gonna crack on. Here we are, sports fans. It's had single coat of the silver. I'm thinking everything that is rounded bar stays silver. The bases for the feet at the front and at the back along with this bar, I'm thinking it needs to be black. Yeah, probably I'm going to end up painting the bar and the bases black and keep everything that's round tubing silver, if that makes sense. So what we'll do is we can leave this to dry. We can then give the silver cage, we can then give the rounded bars another coat of silver tomorrow once it's dry, and then maybe a third one, we'll see. But then once that is dry, we can mask it off and then we can start giving the rest of it a coat of black. And then we can get the seats in, get the harnesses in, and then that is the interior pretty much boxed off. Here is the final look. As we said in the previous clips, we painted the bottom bar and the feet black and then left the actual cage silver, and I think that looks miles better. After we've let that dry, we can fit the seats along with the harnesses. Yesterday, I went down to Tegiwa to pick up two RRS 4-point harnesses. That's the reason we've had the harness bar put in, so we can get it perfect. The closer the better, but you don't want it too close that it rubs on your seat. That's why I had to use the little sections to come off to kick it out. If you want anything for your road or race cars, make sure to check those boys out. They have got a heap of parts online. The paint on the cage is now dry. What we can start to do is get the seats back in ready for the new harnesses. If you remember at the start of the video, I painted the rails because these were bare metal. These are all dry, so we can get these now back into the van. Woo, look at them bad boys. So we've got the Nardi steering wheel compared to the Facebook Marketplace special bucket seats. Along with that, we now have a harness bar. The correct height for a harness bar is either square or 20 degrees and anything in between, and that is what we've got here. So we've got these harnesses, again, that we picked up from Tegiwa, and we're gonna fit them, and we're gonna show you the correct way how to fit harnesses to a harness bar. A lot of people get confused, just run them to the floor on the angle, but that's dangerous, can actually break your back in the event of an accident. So, because we are gonna be tracking this, we want to make it as safe as possible. So, I've been searching on YouTube and found the best way to put them in. Do they need a touching? Do they need adjusting a touch more, geese? I think they do, just ever so slightly. Oh mate, I can get down with this. Now you'll notice that the seating position is way further back than it normally is on a 5, and the steering wheel is probably 20mm lower. Now if you look at me and where my arms are positioned, I've got a nice bend. The steering wheel's not too high. It's perfect for, yeah, track days and cruising really. Whereas when the steering wheel was 20mm higher, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I was up here and it felt like it was coming from the top of my shoulders rather than the side. So now that I'm down here, I can proper throw it in with my shoulders, if that makes sense. But yeah, pretty much happy. These harnesses, pretty clean to be fair. The cage, the harnesses, the seats are in. Looking at it now, it's these little things that make such a difference. I show you the finished product. Just starting to get those little steps closer each time. This was something that needed doing from the start, but I've just been waiting on parts coming in, waiting to get the van in a certain position. There's loads of things that go with certain areas of the van for completion, and the interior is pretty much there. We've got some floor pans, like rally pans, that I want. I'm not really sure whether I want to go carbon fibre or I want to go metal. I want to put some bigger pads on the pedals, and then we've got a PMS shifter coming as well. So yeah, we've got loads to do. The next video will be the aero update. We'll have a full video ready of splitter, side skirts, rear diffuser, wing. I'm going picking up the final parts this weekend when I head down to Festival of Speed. So by the time that you're watching it, that weekend would have gone, and we'll have all the parts ready to make this van proper time attack styling. The support that I've been receiving is great. Yeah, it's mad. We're nearly at 7K now, which is mind blowing. I think I started the year off on maybe 1,000 subscribers. So all you new faces that are supporting me along the way, it's just mega. If we hit 10K by the end of the year, I will buy another project, and it will just be as special as this. So I've got my eyes set on something, so sooner we get to that 10K, the sooner we can get another project in. That project obviously won't start until the van is complete, but the van is due to be complete now. The start of next year, that'll be the respray and wrap. So by that point, we want something in the works. So the sooner we get to 10K, the sooner we can get another project through the doors. It's a special one, let me tell you. So like, share, comment, subscribe, anything that you can do to support me and share the videos is massively appreciated. Honestly, the support is just unreal. Yeah, speechless to be honest with you. Just want to say thanks to the partners again that are involved on this build. It'll be something special and something to remember once it's done. Yeah, we're slowly but surely getting there. As you all know, I am just a one-man band, so I try and make these videos as entertaining as possible and get them out as quick as possible. But I just want to make sure that the beef is there inside the pie, you know what I mean? So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.